Tensions grow over the 16th of February protests where in today's parliamentary session, Eddie Paloka threw paint on Prime Minister Edi Rama's face. After clashes in Parliament, deputies unanimously voted on the protocol for the NATO membership of North Macedonia. The prosecutor in the Serious Crimes Appeal prosecution, Artan Bajrami, has been dismissed from duty after a decision by the Independent Qualification Commission. Good evening, it's 6 o'clock on Thursday, the 14th of February, 2019. Welcome to the English edition of Aura News. My name is Oliver, and I'm here to bring you the day's top stories from across the country, translated into English. Well, in the aftermath of the tragic accident yesterday in North Macedonia, the Parliament of Albania, in honor of the victims, started with 1 minute of silence. Gramos Rucci stating, "We know about the tragic accident in Gostivar where 15 Macedonian citizens died. To honor the pain and stand alongside the families that have lost their loved ones, I invite the Assembly to give 1 minute of silence." Following Rucci, the Prime Minister began with his speech with his condolences for the tragedy in North Macedonia. While emphasizing that most of the victims were Albanian, Rama guaranteed that he will do his part on behalf of the Albanian government, stating, "The tragedy in North Macedonia weighs even more in our consciousness, the weight of the fact that all of us have a common fate, a common destiny, which in this session is embodied in the most meaningful way with the ratification of the adherence of protocol in NATO of North Macedonia." The shocking number of victims and those wounded in the tragic accident, which we find out that most of them are Albanians, makes us emotionally more vulnerable to the closeness of our connection with the Republic of North Macedonia. This particular historical and political connection finds an incarnation in the act of today's unanimous vote of the Assembly. We are spiritually close to all the families affected by the tragedy. Even the chair of the DP, Luzin Basha, expressed his condolences to the victims of the accident, stating, "I want to address the victims' families in my name and in the name of the DP, giving our deepest condolences. May God lighten your pain." Present at the session was also the Speaker of the Parliament of North Macedonia, Talant Jaferi, on the ratification of protocol for NATO membership of North Macedonia. The parliamentary session was tense today, even in the presence of the head of the Macedonian Parliament, as the DP Vice Chair, Eddie Paloka, casted ink on Prime Minister Edi Rama's face with a syringe. This had forced the Assembly Speaker, Gramos Rucci, to expel him from the session, but Paloka refused to leave even after the session was terminated. Then the Bureau of the Assembly decided to expel Eddie Paloka for 10 days. Meanwhile, the Guard of the Republic and the State Police, in their statements, say that the Deputy Paloka had attacked the Prime Minister with a chemical solution. The Guard of the Republic, with the support of the Specialized State Police, has launched immediate investigations into the aggression and launched penal proceedings against the DP Vice Chair, Eddie Paloka. The Albanian Parliament is among the first parliaments around the world to ratify the North Atlantic Treaty Protocol for the accession of the Republic of North Macedonia in NATO. After 1 minute of silence for the victims of the tragic accident in Macedonia, and after the debates on domestic politics with the incident between Democratic MP Eddie Paloka and Prime Minister Edi Rama, Parliament unanimously approved the protocol for membership of the Republic of North Macedonia in NATO. In the speech held before Albanian deputies, the Speaker of North Macedonia's Parliament, Talant Jaferi, said that the path to this moment has been difficult, but politicians chose a safe future, stating, "We did not hesitate at any moment because our citizens deserve to be happy with equal European rights and standards." Prime Minister Edi Rama described a common achievement between Albania and North Macedonians, saying, "Without Albanians, there would be no North Macedonia. If today's situation in North Macedonia is better than ever before, then it can be dedicated to the constructive role of the Albanian leadership and the courageous leadership of Zoran Zaev." On his part, the chair of the Democratic Party, Luzin Basha, said that the political factor in the neighboring country shows vision and prudence, stating, "It is a great merit of all the political factors of our neighbor, in addition to the Albanian political factor, which has never stumbled from its priorities." The Independent Qualification Commission has dismissed the prosecutor of the Serious Crimes Appeal Court, Artan Bajrami, from duty. The chair of the trial panel stating, "The trial panel, after examining all the documentation submitted by the assessment institutions, conducted a deep administrative investigation procedure for all 3 evaluation criteria, and after hearing the subject, it has been decided to dismiss him from duty." The Independent Qualification Commission said that this decision can be appealed in the appeal chamber. Artan Bajrami has inaccuracies in the documentation showing his payment for the purchase of an apartment. According to the High Inspectorate of Declaration and Audit of Assets and Conflict of Interests, Artan Bajrami has a 120 square meter apartment which he purchased for 6.5 million lek in the year 2000, in addition to an apartment in Kavaya which he reportedly bought on credit. Businesses in Albania feel vulnerable to the arbitrary decisions by the state. The head of the Chamber of Commerce, Nikolin Jaka, says that Minister Belinda Baluku's decision to suspend contracts for the construction of the hydroelectric power plant is an unfair example and creates entrepreneurial tension at a time when the courts are often unilateral. According to the head of the Chamber of Commerce, Minister Baluku's decision is a negative signal given to businesses across the country. Jaka suggests that contracts are scanned on a case-by-case basis rather than based on actual decisions. For the past few weeks, this suspension order has been sent to entrepreneurs in the sector, but there are still many uncertainties and questions about how long it will continue and what will be strictly controlled. Health Minister Ogerta Manastirliu and Minister of Education Besa Shahini have signed today the approval of a new service chiefs at Cesautë. The executives who were stationed in July 2011 had their terms expired in August of 2016 when new elections were held. However, with the election of the new chiefs, it has been pointed out that most of them are the same individuals as before. At the University Hospital Center, Etmon Sheliku was re-elected Chief of General Surgery, as well as Gens Sulchebe as head of the Immunological Laboratory. Mentor Petrella stands again at the head of Neurosurgery. Mihal Tase was re-elected Chief of Hypertension, George Belba as the head of the Burn Center, and Artan Goda as the Chief of Cardiology. The process and selection of service chiefs also sowed dissatisfaction among doctors at Cesautë, who considered the process to be non-transparent, stating that their appointment was not based on competition. About 18,000 patients in 2018 received services at the University Dental Clinic. Anis Thodoriania, the director of this clinic, says that after restoration, most of the services, they are now offering them free of charge. At the university's Dentistry Dental Clinic, savings will be very valuable as many dental services cost too much in private clinics. Even citizens themselves say that dental costs have been reduced. If there are any doubts in Brussels and if Prime Minister Edi Rama is in favor of the separation of Kosovo, that is why Albania is at risk of negotiations with the European Union. This strong articulation comes from Prime Minister Ramush Haradinaj, who in an interview said that his Albanian counterpart should not be involved more than he has been in Prishtina's own affairs. He stated, "I tell Mr. Rama to be in charge of his own country. Do not give yourself more tasks because we are here too." If Brussels suspects that Rama favors the separation of Kosovo, then he endangers the placement of Albania to be in a good position with the EU, where his negotiations would be at risk. Although there is a positive approach between the two Albanian prime ministers, there seems to be open contradictions between Rama and Haradinaj. Regarding the pressure to lift the tax imposed on Serbian goods, Haradinaj appears intractable in his position. He challenged the opponents of this tax to take up office as prime minister, reiterating his promise that as long as he will be Kosovo's prime minister, the 100% tax on Serbian goods will not be lifted. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening. And be sure to join me again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. On behalf of Foreign News, thank you and have a great night.